Nowadays, we have a lot of people who are resource rich but soul broken. When it should be, as you grow older, your soul grows with you too, and then you become the change in society, or you have enough to support society in that sense. You become a better person in that sense. So there is a shift that I think many people need to, I think banks are slowly beginning to understand this. That's why this whole entire ESG sustainability type things you see, where they realize the banks or the finance institutions need to be able to contribute back to the society, or they need to do CSR type work. But I think individually, we need to realize that we need to grow both rather than just resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the first step of doing that is to, again, as Michelle said, and pause and slow down, right? So that we could be more conscious of ourselves. And after we start to be more aware of ourselves, then afterwards we can spread love to other people. Because if you first don't understand yourself, then it's going to be hard to understand where you're coming from on the inside, like on a deeper level, on what you're projecting outwards. So once you balance, again, like both types of work, then eventually you'll be able to live more fulfilled, live with more meaning.
And I think that like for younger generation like Bosco is even more important. I always say that even in like when I graduate, right, there's no AI, right? I can actually do a lot of random mindless thing for another 10 years before I need to catch up and like grow to be a real adult. But I think with the younger generation and with AI, it kind of forcing function that you really need to know yourself much earlier on, right? Because otherwise there's you don't have the gap to catch up and be whatever right? and then wait until something happens. I think the younger generation to find yourself early on become a necessity, right, for growth.
I think this is really interesting because I read the study where the use of AI, what is the most prevalent use of AI among young people? And it's actually therapy. So a lot of them talk to AI to try to learn more about themselves. It's just coming in a very different form in that sense. And of course, what AI says is basically what they'll take in that sense, you see.
Yeah.
So there are modalities that are happening there, but it has shifted, the paradigm has shifted. And it may be, what AI says may be probably biased to a certain extent because it only works on the knowledge that's available rather than knowledge that isn't. So a lot of these ancient knowledges that, for example, we might have in Chinese music that might not necessarily be available there. So it's skewed into a certain design or to a paradigm, and then you will get people who have very similar responses and thought processes. No doubt the capabilities of AI is growing, more information is being added, but people are beginning to know how to talk like how ChatGPT talks, for example. So that is an interesting phenomenon that I'm increasingly interested in, that more people are finding a new way of self-discovery through AI. But number two, AI, more people as a result turned their responses or their thought processes to be very similar to AI. So there's this circular sort of loop that is happening, and it means ancient modalities, say that we have in let's say my music for mindfulness, in ancient Chinese music, these kind of get discounted out, and because they're not as established, and the only way to get them established is to get research papers published on them, to get them publicized, to get them pulled out into the international community. And so it becomes so much more imperative for a lot of the modalities that you guys practice and to be put out there and to be recognized and to be substantiated and to be adopted by communities such that, AI can actually put them out.